In today's video, we're going to be going over some spring fragrances you should consider purchasing now while you can before the prices either go up or maybe some of these potentially sell out. Now, none of these are discontinued except actually for one, but really that's not the idea of this video. The idea is that typically when spring is in the air, people really start feeling that sun. They want to start making their spring purchases. A lot of times things might sell out for a brief period, on discounters and stuff like that. Or, as stock goes lower, prices might go up a little bit to counteract that until they get more stock in. This is just something that often happens as we start off kind of going into the warmer time of the year, spring heading into summer. Also can happen, at the end of summer when we start going into fall and winter. Everybody starts doing their buying for that time of year. And now we're kind of working our way into the warmer season. And so these are some that I know for me personally, I'm really excited to be wearing. Obviously, I already have them. But if you're kind of wanting to do some purchasing ahead of time, trying to get ahead of the game before everybody else starts making their selections, these are some that I would look at. These are some that you can get for a good price right now. And hopefully, they stay that way, but there's a good chance that maybe they don't. So we're actually going to start off with a Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau Paradise Garden. Now, when it comes to spring, this is one of the best out there on the designer market right now, in my opinion. And the reason why is because it's simply building upon that already very solid Le Beau smell, the EDT, the EDP. You still get some of that in here, but what they're doing with this in particular is they're adding in some mint. You're getting a little bit of fig. It's greener, no surprise. It's a little bit fresher, whereas Le Beau EDT and the Le Parfum, they are much sweeter. Now, don't get me wrong, you still get that tonka bean, coconut mixture in here. That's what gives it that kind of Le Beau tropical smell. You still pick up on that, which you would kind of hope for, right? Just given the nature of the series. So it does still have some of that sweetness, but it's just not as overpowering as the first two. And for me, that's why I like this one for spring. It just has that green type of slightly minty smell to it off the opening, just fresher, brighter. You can wear this one also in summer as well, but I think if I had to pick one season that it reminds me of the most, it would be the season of spring when things are starting to come to life and green up and the sun is coming back out. That's kind of what this one is all about for me. I just recently talked about how it's tropical in yesterday's video. That's a great alternative for $25 if you didn't want to spend the money on this one, or if the price on this went out, or if it sold out, or whatever the case may be, right? But I'm just kind of throwing this one out there now. If you want to get the real deal, you want to get the main one, it's on sale for I think $92, $94 for 125 ml testers. The full presentation is just right around $100, which is a great price. I would imagine that maybe as we get into spring and summer, that might change a little bit. Prices might go back up, could sell out in some places. So I would be looking ahead and just kind of being prepared and grabbing yours now if you do have interest in getting this one. Okay, this next one is discontinued. However, it's one that you can grab on a couple of different discounters right now, about $40 on average. It's been discontinued for years. And I bought my bottle on eBay several years ago when I was building up the rest of my John Varvatos collection, and I paid way too much for it, right? Little did I know that several years later, these would pop back up out of nowhere on discounters. It's a very strange thing. It's John Varvatos Artisan Black. For spring, this one just cannot be beat. It smells amazing. Now, what is available right now are testers, so no cap. Some pictures show that they have the little metal tag. Others do not. I'm probably guessing that they don't, okay? Because I believe, that's kind of removable, and I don't know if they have them or not, okay? So don't get your hopes set on getting this for sure, but the scent is amazing. It's not at all what you would expect given the bottle and the name. This one has blood orange, tangerine, ginger, leather, and a ton of other notes. In typical old school John Varvatos fashion, they have a wide variety of notes in this fragrance. And it's cool to see, especially because we don't get that anymore. However, don't let it overwhelm you. The main idea is pretty much what I listed off. It has that orange, tangerine type of smell, which of course carries over from the original Artisan years ago, which is still available. You can get that one easily. But what they're doing here, a little bit of leather, a little bit of that nice spicy ginger, a little bit more of a woodiness. You'll find that this one is just a little bit heavier. And ultimately what that does is it gives the scent a little bit more of a base, a little bit more of a backbone, and a little bit better performance. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that this is like a beast mode scent. It definitely is not. So don't buy this if you're expecting really, really good performance. Really, no John Varvatos scent exhibits that. However, compared to the regular Artisan, this one does last a little bit longer. It just has a bit more presence overall. So yeah, again, John Varvatos Artisan Black. Again, it's not, you know, a dark rebel type of smell like you might expect given the name in the bottle. It's still a very bright kind of, you know, fruity spring scent primarily. You can wear it pretty much any time of the year in general, but especially any time when it's warm. But if I had to pick a season for it, I would probably go for spring for this one because it does have that balance. It's not just straight up fruits and citruses. It does have that leather, some wood, some ginger to give it more of that kind of middle ground feel for temperatures when it could still be a little bit cool outside and whatever you might face in the season of spring. But yeah, like I said, it's discontinued. It made a little resurgence for now, but you know, they're not making this anymore. So at some point, that stock is going to run back out. If you have any interest in grabbing this, do it while you can get it for $40 or a little bit less than $40. I've got it linked down below along with everything in this video. Don't wait until the stock gets so low that this jumps up in price or just sells out altogether and then you're out of luck. You know, if you're on the fence and you just like John Varvatos, this is a really cool collector's piece worth having here. And I think it smells great, something you can get a lot of use out of as well. All right, this next one is Maison Asrar. This one is Legacy. This one came to light as an Ex Nihilo Blue Talisman clone. So this is the first Maison Asrar that I tried, and pretty much right off the get-go, I was impressed because the quality is great, the smell is great, the performance is great, just the presentation is really solid as well. And to me, at least from my understanding, it's a little bit of a newer clone brand. It was definitely new to me because I hadn't really even heard of them before, and I definitely hadn't smelled anything from them until I got this one in. And since then, everything I've tried from them after this has also been very good. So this here has pear, ginger, musk, and amber. So kind of like a ambergris, ambroxan type of accord in here. You know, you might look at this and immediately think, oh, it's another blue fragrance. And it's not quite that simple, although could it be, you know, kind of a little bit of a reference to that? Yeah, maybe just a little, just a very little, but it's not, you know, a Sauvage smell or a Dylan Blue smell or a YEDP smell. You see the pear, you see that fruitiness, and you might think in your head that it goes that direction, but it's not quite that simple. To me, this one is much more of a classy smell than your typical blue scent because I'm actually going to spray this one on. I might make this my scent of the day. You know, you get that nice fruity pear, but it's not pear like Ultra Male, right? It's not that level. It's just a relatively mild, kind of smooth, slightly sweet pear accord. You're getting that amber, you're getting a little bit of a like white floral component in here as well. It just smells really, really nice. And again, the quality is what kind of separates this from a lot of other cheaper, lower level clones out there. A lot of them are really good these days, but you'll still come across some that just don't quite really live up to what you would expect out of them. But this is one that I do really enjoy on all fronts. And I think this is on sale, I believe. I think the price is down to $39 right now. I think that's including the $10 off coupon that Joma Shop has for it. Again, I'll link it down below if you want to pick this one up. I think when it started, I think it was $49. I could be wrong though, okay? So, you know, they started off a little bit more expensive than some other clone brands, although as I predicted, I think the price will come down a little bit on these as the newness wears off, so to speak. But yeah, really solid price going for this one. Who knows where that's going to go? Hopefully it continues to drop, but you never know. And also I think that there's a chance that this could potentially sell out at one point in time, especially when we get into the warmer weather and people are really wanting to pick this one up, because this is the type of thing that I think could go, you know, TikTok viral pretty easily. And, you know, when that happens, things sell out all over the place. So really, really nice smell. If you want something that ultimately is unique and stands out for the season of spring and summer, I would check out Legacy. Again, this is part of their Royal collection. Really, really solid scent all the way through. This next one is one that has been a little bit hard to find for a while now. However, it's been in stock here recently. I think around $109, $110 for this. This is Dior Eau Sauvage in the Cologne version. Man, I love the look of the bottle. You really can't see it on camera all that well. I mean, there's not a whole lot of contrast. It's just got that white band all the way around with a little bit of a silver part right there, white cap, silver on top, white all the way through. It just has a very, very distinct, cool look to it. Definitely has a classy look to it, right? Because it is kind of a classy smell. The Eau Sauvage scent DNA is one of a more, old school smell. And so this is not going to land for everybody. So just kind of throwing that warning out there now. This one has bergamot, grapefruit, petitgrain, and orange. So it's a nice, bright, citrus aromatic. Think of something that is just, like a very classy, high-end aftershave type of smell. That's what this is, definitely not a modern smell, a little bit more of an old school smell, but with a little bit of a bright, fresh twist. To me, this is more wearable than Eau Sauvage regular. It's also much more wearable than Eau Sauvage Parfum and Eau Sauvage Extreme. Those are all obviously flankers in the lineup. You can get the original easily. You can get the Parfum easily. For the most part, the Extreme version has popped up here and there, but it's going to be a little bit harder to pick up on. And this Cologne version is out right now and pretty easy to get. But this is not for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody should go out and blind buy this one. I would actually recommend against that. I think it takes a specific person to like this. You have to have a specific style that you're into. And, that's something that you kind of have to work out and figure out on your own. If you like the classics, you're going to like this. If you don't, if you like the Eau de Parfum type of modernized smell, you're definitely not really going to like this. And so I wouldn't blind buy it in that case. But I know a lot of people like this sort of thing who watch my videos. And so this is one that would be worth picking up while you can get it for a fair price, especially because it's great for spring in particular. And last up for this video, we have Bvlgari Man Wood Neroli. I don't know what they've done with this lineup, but you just don't really see or hear about too many anymore. I thought I saw something about a Wood Essence Parfum release, but I haven't seen anything about it since then. It has Neroli, bergamot, orange blossom, and cedar wood, so of course you get that Neroli in here. It smells amazing, very bright, vibrant, but yet still plenty woody as well to give you some balance. It has an expensive type of smell to it, and it also has a little bit of the slight sugary sweetness. Now, Wood Essence also has that as well. In fact, I think in Wood Essence, they even list off like sugary citrus or something along those lines. I can't remember for sure. They don't list that off in this one, but I also do pick up on that here as well, which is kind of interesting. This is somewhat in that realm of Xerjoff Kobe / Xerjoff Neo, just a little. Again, it's not exact, right? And those are two kind of different scents on their own anyway. Neo is more Neroli focused and petitgrain based than Kobe, but Kobe has that slight citrusy sweetness that this has, and of course this has all of that Neroli as well. So that's kind of why I'm lumping those two together. So it's in that category a little bit, but I mean it's significantly less than both of those Xerjoff fragrances. I think you're looking at around $59 for this, 60 maybe. And this is a 100 ml bottle. I believe it's an Eau de Parfum. And yeah, you don't hear about these. I don't feel like people wear them all that often. This is yet another way that you could stand out and smell different up against a lot of other very familiar smelling scents. Bvlgari Man Wood Neroli, definitely worth checking out because it is still, in my opinion, underrated, even though it's been out for a while. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Some spring fragrances I would look into grabbing now while you can get them for a good price on sale before they either sell out for a little bit or maybe the prices go up as we get warmer weather coming closer to us. So I'll link all these down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.